All right, today I want to talk about going through the appraisal process during my 20 unit apartment complex cash out refinance. So, typically, an appraisal process is initiated by your lender. If you're lucky and you had an appraisal done in the past 6 months, your lender may take it. But if it's past that 6 month period, then they usually will want a new appraisal. And usually, your lender, so I use Bank of the West, has their list of qualified, certified appraisal companies that they work with. So usually they'll give you bids, and on the bids, they're gonna say, okay, here are your three bids. It'll tell you how much it costs and what's the turnaround time. So for me, I always care about more about fast turnaround time. So I'm willing to usually pay a little bit more for a faster turnaround time versus pay a little bit less for a double turnaround time. So typically it takes about 2 weeks to turn it around on the fast end, 4 weeks on the slow end. And the cost, I believe, was around $2,500 to $3,000 on average. So the appraisal is a lot more expensive. So kind of going back to the three parts of the appraisal process is the first one is usually the appraiser will reach out to you with an email with a bunch of questions as we can kind of see behind here. And we'll go over these questions. Step number two is they want to schedule a property inspection in person. And number three is they're going to give you a report, the final report, which is 80, 90 pages. And I'm going to show you everything, right? I'm fully transparent. I'm going to show you the exact questions that they asked me, how I answered it. We're going to look at my appraisal report. We're going to go through everything, turn over every single stone, right? So here, the moment I went forward with an appraiser, I got a lot of questions right here, as you can see, right? So they want copies of the lease and rent roll of the property. They want operating performas or historical income expense statements. So they're trying to gather um, the income of the property, right? So they want the leases, they want the rent roll, they want performa. If you're doing value add, they want the historical P&Ls. So for me, I had this property for a year, about 12 months. So I had all these documents already through Appfolio. So really easy. Details how the expenses are split between the landlord and tenants. So, who pays for insurance? Usually landlord. Who pays property tax? Landlord. Who pays for maintenance? Usually the landlord, and then each utility. So in my case, I paid for the water, the trash. I paid for electricity in the common laundry room, and the tenants would pay for electricity and gas in their respective unit. Right. So that was the breakdown. They want to know the detail of the square footage, any renovation budget, any property surveys, um, any offers that have been made on the property. So if you got offers, the unit mix, are they all one bedroom, two bedroom, studio? What's the mix? Is there a garage? Confirm multiple amenities. So are there washer and dryer, countertops? What's the flooring, stove, refrigerator, microwave, disposable, dishwasher? Any they want the past basically 4 years of profit and loss statements if possible. So I only owned it for a year. List of any deferred maintenance, any capex, which I had a lot of because I spent $120,000 to fix it up. What's the floor plan? Any surveys, Alta surveys, and what's is this a purchase, refinance, or construction loan? So any information you provide is really helpful. So here, I usually when I respond, so many questions, right? I'll usually copy and paste it, and I'll answer in red. So the first question is, okay, leases and the rent roll. So because I've owned this property for 12 months, easy, right? I just put off my rent roll from Appfolio, and at the time of the refinance, I was at 90%, right? So 18 out of 20 of my units were occupied, which is what they like, right? The more the occupancy, the better the property looks for the appraisal process, right? And then here they want any performa. So performa is if you're buying it brand new and you're doing value add. So I did that 12 months ago, right? But I don't need that because I already stabilized the property, and I have income expense statements. I have P&Ls since for the past 12 months. So I have a T12. So I basically gave them my T12 from Appfolio, so they can look at what's my income, what's my expense ratio, which was around 55%, and then they would see, all my expenses that I'm paying, right? So next one is detailed property expenses. So I cover insurance, property tax, maintenance, water, trash, common area, electricity, gas, tenant covered gas of their unit. This is very standard, right? Like usually if it's commercial real estate, like industrial, the tenant might pay for like property tax insurance, but for a multifamily, usually landlord, right? So square footage, you can see here, you just can pull this off the tax record, really easy. So about 11,000 square foot, and all of mine are 20 bed, one bath units. Average size of unit is around 530 square foot per unit. So once again, um, you can look that on the tax record. It's pretty easy to find. Any renovation budgets that might be planned for the property. So here, this is straight from my scope of work, right? So I renovated 7 units for about $5,000 each. So I think at the time I renovated 13 out of 20 of the units. So I had 7 units remaining, and these were the existing tenants that didn't leave and didn't turn over. When I bought the apartment complex, I think 15 out of 20 were occupied, and it dropped down to 7 at one point. And those 7 are still with me today, right? So I figure as if those 7 tenants eventually leave, or let's say we raise the rent and they leave, then it's going to cost me an average about $5,000 or less once they become available to renovate them. So about 35K, and lease them up to market rent of around 500 to 550, depending on the time of year. Any property surveys? So we didn't do any when I bought this of a hard money loan. Details of any offers. So I didn't really get any offers, never really advertised it, right? But sometimes people call you and cold call you and try to submit offers. So they did. You can include that. Unit mix. So it's 20 one bed, one bath units. So really easy. Is uncovered parking, no storage unit, and there's common area laundry. So we actually outsource the laundry machines to CSC. So they take care of the maintenance, they take care of everything, and we profit split. I think I get 50%. Yeah, it's 50% profit split, but I have to cover for the water as well, right? But for me, I don't want to deal with the maintenance of the laundry machines breaking down because, you have 10, 20 units. They might overstuff the laundry units. It's going to break, and it's just a kind of a headache nightmare. So kind of from my experience with my 2 apartment complexes, the laundry units are always outsourced. And then here we want to confirm amenities. So wash and dryer. So we only have common area laundry. Countertops, we renovate with laminate countertops. So this is really popular in Oklahoma. In California, it's granite or quartz. So don't overkill, don't over renovate your property. Flooring. So during my renovations, I put luxury vinyl plank flooring everywhere, right in the room, the kitchen, the bathroom. It's just really durable, really clean, really nice, really modern. It comes with a stove, comes with a refrigerator, microwave, no. Trash disposal, yes. So trash disposal, I'm kind of 50-50 on because it costs around $150 to replace it every time. And, if a tenant throws like a chicken bone down there, it's going to bust it, or maybe a fork drops down there, it may bust it. So, I'm kind of 50-50. It's not really required. But we bake into the lease that like after repairing it, if it's deemed that it's the fault of the tenant, then they're gonna have to pay for that repair, right? So dishwasher, no. So once again, it's ideally if you don't offer dishwashers. I mean, this is C-class apartment complex, right? So this is very typical C-class. Usually, there's no dishwasher, or actually, take that back. So it came with no dishwasher, but during my renovation, I actually added a dishwasher to some of the units so I can get the higher end rents, right? So before it was rented out at around 450, all bills included, but during the renovation I did add dishwashers and I raised the rents around 750, 800. So I did add dishwashers. I actually answered that one incorrectly. Types of heating. So we have central heat and cooling, right? So condensers, those we have 20 units, 20 condensers. It breaks down. We have 20 HVAC units, and they break down. It's expensive. It's like $3,000 every time it breaks. It's summertime right now, and a lot are breaking down, and I'm experiencing it, right? So here, in historical operating statement. So I only own this in 2022 and 2023. So I just gave them my P&Ls, all I had. Deferred maintenance. So there's none. I fixed everything, right? Like literally, I pumped in $120,000. So right here, list my capex. So I put in 120K. I repainted the entire exterior for $10,000. New electrical panel for $10,000. Unit 4 was burned down and required full demolition and renovation with everything brand new, 35K. I renovated all these units. I listed them here. which includes LVP flooring, scraping popcorn ceiling, replace kitchen countertops, new laminate countertops, touch up the bathtub. It averaged about 5,500 per unit. So I renovated 13 to 20 units and rented to market rents around 500, 550. So you want to be as detailed as possible to kind of paint that story. And the reason why I had this is I had a hard money loan. They require a scope of work. So it's a pretty nice Excel document. So I'm kind of copying and pasting that over. So that's what I mean by like it's really nice when you stay organized. It makes your life easier, and then the more information you give, it makes you seem more buttoned up. You know what you're doing, right? It leaves a stronger impression. And here, all my units are the same floor plan, no survey, no Alta, and this is a refinance, right? So overall, I want to say I bought this 20 unit off market with our broker in May of 2022. In about 12 months, I renovated 1320 units, 120K, and rented it out for 500 to 550. As the remaining 720 units become available, they will be renovated. So this is just kind of my plan. And I ask, okay, anything else is needed, right? So, once again, like here's my rent roll, straight from Appfolio. So you can kind of see here, 90% occupied, and I'm getting around $8,700 a month in rent. And it's breaking down per unit. So you can kind of see like this is a new tenant. This one's new. This one's new. This one's new. See all the ones I rented out in 2023 and end of 2022. So, and these are the existing tenants, right? 2005, 2018, 2021. So, that's why I kind of sent. And then, I kind of sent my T12, right? And this is straight from Appfolio. So you can kind of see a breakdown of, this is when I bought the property. You see how little rent I was getting, 4,200. And my worst was like, this is when I was at 7, I had $3,000 or 2,700, and now I'm at 8,700, right? So this is what's common in value add real estate, and you can kind of see my net income, right? Like, gee, look how negative I am. Negative 14K, 17K, 31K, 13K, because I'm renovating units. So that's kind of the reality. Okay, so that's phase one, right? Email questions. Phase two is the on-site inspection. So usually the inspector will reach out to you and call you, say, hey, Steven, can I come on this date and time? And since I'm not in Oklahoma, I'll say, let me get my property manager, see if they're available to go. And my property manager is actually walking distance to the apartment, so it's easy. I just coordinate my property manager; they're good. And then he just said, okay, I want to see a sample of each type of unit, right? So since I'm all one bedroom, then I just need to show him one bedroom unit. So we had one unit that was renovated and it was vacant, so he can go in. He can go into the laundry room. He can see the outside. So that's all you wanted, right? So when you're showing him a sample of units, try to show him your nicer units, right? You want to leave a good impression. Like I could have showed him the unrenovated unit that was vacant, but it doesn't look pretty. You want to show him the renovated unit. So he goes there, he does his inspection, and then usually he'll start working his report. And this is the part that takes the longest. So let me pull up the report here. So let me go over the report here. So basically, so we use MP-Val, which was through Bank of the West for my C-class apartment complex, which is 20 units in Enid, Oklahoma. About 10,000 square foot. It was built in 1968. So it's C-class and it's partially renovated in 2022. So 13 out of 20. They're all one bedroom, one bath, average of 525, and it's 90% occupied. And the total site is 15,000 square foot. And here, so this is the as is market valuation. So they deemed it was 520K. So this is where I was a little bit disappointed, right? I thought it would be worth, honestly, around 650 to 700K, conservatively, and it appraised less, right? So I'll go into how they found the appraisal value, but this is why it matters. So I bought this for 350, right? I put in $120,000 for renovation. So I'm all in for 470K. So they appreciated it valued at 520K. So that means that I only made or forced about 50K in appreciation. The downside of that is if I want to do a perfect burn, pull up my down payment and renovation cost, I can't do that because the appraisal wasn't high enough, right? So if you take 720 divide by 0.75, and then basically my new loan's only 390K, so that means that I only get back some money. I only get back my down payment, and I left 120K into the deal, which was my renovation costs. So it sucked, but I'll go into how they got that valuation. So here, this is the insurable replacement cost insurance. So that's about $1.1 million, right? And then how they calculate that is usually based on the square footage, right? So what's the cost to build this brand new? So that's replacement cost to build brand new. So you take the value and you divide by the square footage. So this was 10. So it's around $100 per square foot to rebuild an A-class 20-unit apartment complex, which is about right for that market, right? You have to bring it up to 2023 standards. So this is kind of the insurance amount you want to at least get, right? It's about 1.1 million based on replacement cost insurance. So this gives guidance, right? So this is your ARV that the lender will use for the refinance, and this is the insurance amount that you want to get, and you want replacement cost insurance. So let's scroll down. It's a long document, so it's 88 pages, but a lot of it's fluff, right? As I said, it's really intimidating, but I just want to really break it down. So they have a table of contents of everything. See how did they value it, description, introduction. Um, so, like I said, I want to make it seem not intimidating. So basically, what's the land? Once again, it's about 1,500 square feet. Um, the rentable area right here. 20 units. It's one building, 2 floors. It was built in 1968, renovated in 2022. It's 55 years old. Effective age is 20. So why that's important is because that's how they want to amortize the loan. So this one has to be 20-year amortized loan. Oops, sorry, right here. It's remaining useful life. It's 25 years. So the amortization is usually going to be 25 years based off that, right? I still got 30%, so I was lucky. Parking, on-site laundry, no security, everything was average, right? This is typical for C class. It's old, right? Even though I renovated it, it's still average. So let's go to the next page. So here, what's the occupancy? So 90% based on the rent roll. So it's 10% vacant. So stabilized occupancy, they anticipate that maybe 92%. So that kind of means that like I'm gonna hover between 18, 19 units occupied out of 20 on average. There's no rubs, which is billing back like water utilities. It's not common in that market. 18 occupied, 2 vacant. Average rent was 513. Market rent is this much. Expense ratio based on my P&L is going to be 555%, which is about accurate. So they calculated my net operating income to be about $53,000 or $52,000. And as you can kind of see here, the cap rate, so this is what got me. The cap rate went up from around 8% to 10.25%, right? So why does this matter, right? So to do the value, you take the net operating income. So I'm gonna take the NOI of 52K divided by the cap rate of 10. So my oops, did that wrong. Divided by my value is gonna be about 520K. That's how they got this one right here. So I did my math. So you take this number, divide by that number, and then you have the income capitalization approach, which is 520K, and they did the sales comparison approach, which is 560K, and they took the lower of the two, right? But why I was very frustrated with this appraisal was because, man, I know if I listed this for sale at 560 or even 600K, that's 30K per door, right? So let me do the math for you. That's 30K per door. I'm getting $500 on average per rent. So does that meet the 1% rule? It does, right? So if I'm getting 500 per door and it's 300, then I'm at the 1.6% rule, right? So it's really powerful. It's going to cash flow. So like that's why I was really frustrated. But I thought I was going to appraise at around 800K to be honest, which is 40K per door, right? And even at 40K per door, divide by 500 rent, that's still 1.25% rule, which is good, right? But let me show you. So I thought the cap rate was going to be around 8%. right? So let me take that same net operating income of ooh, okay, my Peter spazzing a little bit. But if you were to take this 520K, 52K divided by the 8 cap, the value is going to be much higher than this. And that's how I kind of anticipated it, right? So that was kind of my downfall, unfortunately. There. So let's go to the next page. So this is an overview of the property, a nice aerial view. Once again, aerial view. So there's some pictures of the property. So it's a nice exterior. Um, we kind of repainted the exterior of this. We repainted the doors this nice red color and repainted the exterior to make it look nicer. So these are my renovated units here. So you can tell we painted it this light gray color, LVP flooring. We retouched up the kitchen cabinets, scraped the popcorn ceiling, have a new ceiling fan. This is a boob light. And then this is the laundry area. So we have 2 units from CSC. This is the bathtub. You can see here these bathtub kits from Home Depot. So it comes with a tub and the wall and the surrounding. So this is straight from Home Depot. Pretty basic. This is kind of the exterior. So here it shows how I bought it for 350K and I put in 120K. And they just gave all the details that I gave right here. So exposure time, I don't really know what this means, but they gave a nice conclusion. Overall market conditions expected to remain stable. So the market timing of 3 to 6 months predicted for the subject. So I guess if I want to sell this, it'd take me 3 to 6 months. So they averaged about 4.3 months. Not really sure what that has to do with the property, right? So as I can see, there's a lot of fluff here in this report. It's so long. Scope of the work, what they did. This is about a lot more fluff here. So here's my appraiser. He inspected it, interior, exterior, in which state? So it's in Garfield County. So here they're kind of doing an analysis of Oklahoma. So they're looking at the trailing 18 months and trailing 10 years of unemployment rate. So as you can kind of see, it's actually going down, or kind of up and down. It ebbs with the flow, but it's consistent. So why they're looking at unemployment rate is because they, if there's unemployment, if there's no jobs there's no population growth, there's population decline. So they want to make sure that the area is growing, doing great. So you can kind of see here, it has a 2.9% unemployment rate. And for the state, it's 3. And then for the nation, it's 3.6. So actually, unemployment, it's good, right? So here, I'm near 2 hospitals, which is why, so I'm right here. I'm near this Integris Health Hospital and then the St. Mary's Regional, which is why I really liked it. And I'm near a Oakwood Country Club. So you know that, the area is kind of gentrifying, right? It's a small population of 50K, but it was really near. Like I could do midterm rentals, And they're looking at the demographic information here. So you can look at this at city-data.com, which is what I kind of teach my students in the course. So this is talk about the site description. Let's see. Is it in the floodplain? Once again, they're looking at the zoning to see if it's the highest and best use. So it's all residential 7, which are apartment complexes. So they're looking at tax assessments here. So once again, this is public on the Garfield County. So right here, tax assessed price is 525K. So this is actually what the owner wanted initially, but no lender would give me money on it. So I brought him down to 350K, and I'm paying around 5,700 a year for the taxes, and it stayed the same, right? Improvement. So they're just talking about, let's say the same stuff in the beginning. So here, the foundation's concrete slab. It's wooden framing, roof. So you need this for like your insurance, right? So they have split systems, lighting, drywall. So it has everything. So there's 30 parking spots. So 1.5 spaces per unit. It's pretty good. Let's see. So they're doing the market analysis of the vacancy. So let's see. Yeah, so vacancy is around 10%. So I'm actually about right. Because I had it 90%. And the net absorption rate is 35. So I think that's losing. See, what's annoying is like once you do your first appraisal, you really know the market, right? So if I were to buy another property in Enid, I would know the cap rate. I would know all this information. So highest and best use, which is this apartment complex. So let's look at, did they start? So so here they show the sales comparable, right? So these are multiple apartment complexes here. So as you can see, they brought it for, this one is 260. Okay, so they didn't have any. So look at this. I bought mines in Enid, right? And this one's in Hennessy, Cleveland, Chickasha. This one's in Enid, and this is Enid as well. So you can kind of see here, they bought this one for $1 million. Let's see, price per door, which was 28K per door, right? So you can kind of see 47, 28, 33, 35, 25. So that's why I thought it was gonna be at least like 40K per door. And do they have the average? Oh no, wait, sorry. So they adjusted it. Excuse me. So this is the one they look at. So this is 28K per door. So like right here, you can kind of see it's made 30K per door times 20. It's gonna be 600K, right? So these are the subject properties on the map. Exterior. So they're talking about why they adjusted it. So if you look at it this way, they average it out to be about 28K per door. So the value is 560K, right? But the bank, they don't care about the sales comparison approach. They want the net operating income approach, which was 520, which was less, right? So I'm just trying to teach you this to show this for the rent roll. So they showed like what the rent was, what the market rent was, and actual rent. So this is the income approach, right? So they're doing. So here, market rent, they conclude that an average is about 525, which is about right because I'm getting between 500 to 550, and then so you can do the math, right? 525 times 20 doors, and assume 90%, 10% vacancy, and that's how much monthly gross income you get, right? So here, this is operating expense. So let's see. They anticipate around 44% expense ratio. And mine was 55%, if you remember correctly. Let's see here. So look at this is the cap rates, right? So this is what I mean. I didn't think I was gonna be at a 10 cap. I thought I was gonna be around 8 cap. But if you look at this, right? So this one is 11%. This one's 7%, 8%, 11%, 10%. So they average it out to be about 9.75, but I was at a 10.25, right? So I was on the higher end. So that matters, right? You get your net operating income divided by your market cap rate. So now I know the cap rate's like a 10 cap market, so it's going to cash flow a bit better. But interest rates went up, so of course cap rates will expand. So right here, they did 10.3, concluded 10.25. So that's how they did my cap rate. So they did it based on the market extraction, which was 9.75. And then the simple band calculator, it's going to be this. So that's how they calculate it, right? So here, it's basic math. So here, they get the total rent revenue. So 525 times 20 units, assuming a 10%. No, they assumed a 8% vacancy. So this is my effective gross revenue. And then for my expense, um, they assume 64K, which was about 55%. So my NOI is around 52K. Divide by that 10.25 cap rate. So I have a valuation of 520. So it's all math, right? That's what I mean. Like, you can, if you increase the income, you increase the value. If you decrease the cap rate, you increase the value. Yeah, that's kind of the key lesson of this. So at the end, it's 520, right? And then sales approach was 560, but they took the lower. So that's pretty much it. That's a lot of information there. But overall, hopefully, you found this valuable. Like, for me, even though my appraisal went down much lower than I expected, I don't let it discourage me, because real estate's a long-term game. Because interest rates went up, cap rates went up, and if cap rates go up, your value goes down. So when interest rates go down, cap rate will go down, your value will go up. At that point, I have I think 7% interest rate. If interest rate drops down in like 2 or 3 years, I'm gonna refinance with Bank of the West, and lower my interest rate to maybe 4 to 5%, and then I'll cash flow a lot better, right? So just think about, like, yes, I didn't pull out all my money. I left 120K in the deal, but in my next cash out refinance in maybe 3 years, I'm gonna pull back all my money out, right? So no one expected interest rates to go up this high. No one expected cap rates to expand this much. So of course it's going to affect your value, and all multifamily is getting hit, right? So the key is just to survive for the next 3 years. Like, if I just break even this property for the next 3 years, that's fine. And then at that point, I do a cash out refinance, pull my money out, have a lower interest rate, and then at that point, rents will go up, and that's how you really make money from real estate. So hopefully you found a lot of value from this video, and hopefully it gave you more confidence to see what an appraisal process looks like. It's not as intimidating as it looks. And leave a comment down below if you have any questions. Thank you so much.